Hello there, I'm going to do a new type of video. I wanted to talk about a subject in Dead Space lore. More focused on, was Earth Gov better than the Sovereign Colonies? Were they worse? Did they do a better job in providing for the population? First off, let's describe what the two subjects are. Earth Gov was the government that came after the Sovereign Colonies, after the Secession War, when the secessionists fought the Sovereign Colonies and won, establishing an Earth-centric government. I saw some sources saying that the Earth Gov government was on Earth at the time and just controlled Earth, and the Sovereign Colonies controlled the colonies. I'm not really sure about that. There's a lot of sources saying that Earth Gov didn't exist at the time, so we're just going to go with that. A lot of official sources, as to say. And the Sovereign Colonies was the ruling government at the time, about 200 years before Dead Space 1. It was around during the Secession War, obviously, and the Resource Wars. The Resource Wars actually extended into the Earth Gov time period, and I think it ended during that time period as well, if I remember correctly. The Sovereign Colonies, they were in a tough spot at the moment, since they were fighting the Resource Wars which were happening, and because of that, the Sovereign Colonies were struggling to find resources for all the colonies and Earth in order to keep the populations satiated. So they turned to the marker on Earth, the black marker. And since the marker was sending us signals from an unknown source of power, they figured they could harness that power in order to make more energy, and by that logic, more resources. But since the black marker incident that involved Altman, they moved the marker. Well, we don't know what happened to the black marker, but I assume they moved it off Earth, since we don't have any records of anything else happening on the planet. But no one really knows where it is. But they did recreate a red marker. I think it was 3 of them. There might have been more. I'm only remembering 3 on not Tal Valentes, on Aegis 7. I think Vesper, Verper, or something like that. And the third one I can't remember on my head right now. They tested those markers in order to get power. And after that, the outbreaks happened on each of the planets. And while these outbreaks happened, they enacted Scenario 5 and wiped out all the research. And so they lost all their research on the markers. And then while that happened, well, I'm not really sure if this happened around the same time or a few years, days, who knows. Earth Gov ends up taking over as the government after these Sovereign Colonies fall apart. Earth Gov gets no information from the Sovereign Colonies about the research. Earth Gov ends up thinking it's a scorched earth tactic by destroying all the research by the Sovereign Colonies, so they don't really question it. The Resource Wars end up ending because the invention of the planet crackers that came out. Not really the planet crackers, but planet cracking as a whole, in order to open up planets and take their resources out. This ends up feeding the populations, as you know, giving them more resources to survive on. However, this is only a temporary crutch. And so Earth Gov starts to look at the markers, and they start doing research on it as well. And that's where the history lesson ends. So, if we think about it this way, the way history went, Earth Gov is doing the exact same thing that the Sovereign Colonies is doing. But they have no way to know that, since all the research was destroyed. There were parts of the research that was found, like the location of Aegis 7, which Earth Gov, in the remake, they made Kendra a Earth Gov, employee. They sent her to go check it out. So they had that research. But they didn't have anything about what happens with the marker. I think Captain Matthias had a clue, if I remember correctly, because he said interesting when the director of Aegis 7 told him what was happening on the planet, but I can't remember exactly if that was like a scientific interest or he's has some kind of information on the black marker outbreak. He is a high-ranking member, so it is possible. But moving back to Earth Gov, they wouldn't have known that this stuff would have happened with the markers until they started remaking them on the other colonies around. They must have known since they put shielding up for the marker signal. So in a way, Earth Gov was worse than the Sovereign Colonies, since they knew it was negative. But the problem there is humanity has a limited time frame for survival. Because once they run out of resources, the population is going to start dying off. Humanity might go extinct at that point. So was Earth Gov's decision to do that justified in order to save the species? That's the real question. The Sovereign Colonies sacrificed itself in order to save the species because they knew it was out of control. If the Sovereign Colonies survived, I think they would have probably found another way to take this resource thing into account. However, since the Sovereign Colonies controlled Earth and the other colonies, but they focused more on the colonies, which caused the secessionists to basically break away from them. Well, in my eyes, the Sovereign Colonies were right. They tried to work with the markers, didn't work out, collapsed the research. But in the end, the secession wars took them out. Earth Gov continued it. They went a bit further, started making more markers. Honestly, I think judging by the way they rebuilt markers, I don't even think the one on the Titan station was red. It was more yellow. I don't know if the color really makes a difference. I don't know what made it red in the first place. Why were they red? Probably some lore reason. I doubt it, actually. I would have seen that somewhere. But since you can make markers like that, if you can harness this signal, you can most likely make energy. But how would you harness this? What type of signal is this? A radio signal? Just thinking out loud here. But anyway, yes, the Earth Gov government was probably worse than the Sovereign Colonies government. We don't have any history past the Secession War, or I guess before the Secession War. So I can't really be sure if the Sovereign Colonies didn't do any atrocities before that. I know Earth Gov tested the markers on its civilians in Titan Station. And in Vespire, I think it was, it's where Carver from Dead Space 3, the playable character, he was stationed on. I think it's Vesper. Vesper's either that planet or it's the planet that the book takes place in. I can't remember right now. And then the second question. Yes, the black marker. I spoke about this earlier. The black marker, where it could be. There's two things that could have happened here. I guess three. Well, it's two and then one that branches off the second option. So the first one is the marker was destroyed, which is possible because the Aegis 7 marker was destroyed by a meteor. Well, there were shards left over. The marker was mostly destroyed in Aegis 7. It somehow survived an asteroid crashing on it, which is insane because the melting point is insanely high. Maybe it didn't fall directly on the... Well, even so, if it was right above it, it went straight down, it would have vaporized that entire planet. The planet would have been destroyed, I'm pretty sure. It was destroyed. No. I watched the movie once or twice. And I can't remember if they landed on the asteroid parts, like the broken pieces of the planet, or if they landed on the actual planet. Because I know the planet blew up again, or the asteroid or whatever. Oh man, I'm blanking on it. I think it was the planet. The planet had a giant hole in it. And then it exploded again. After I can't remember the person's name that caused it to collapse again. Yeah, and the marker still survived. Well, I don't know if the marker didn't survive, obviously. So the marker got destroyed there, collapsed into pieces. I think the same thing might have happened to the black marker. Because I don't think we've ever seen a marker. Well, we haven't seen anyone attempt to destroy a marker with actual weapons. They might have used some type of explosives. Because I doubt the red markers are more durable than the black marker. Since the black marker went through space and crashed on the planet and still survived. Which is insane. So the marker wasn't destroyed most likely, since there's no possible way they could find something that can do the same amount of damage that a meteor crash on Earth could do. They most likely took the marker underground, or they took it off-world. Since the Sovereign Colonies didn't tell us where they went with the marker, or what they did with it, there's no way to know. Most likely they took it to a different planet and left it there, and Earth Gov just never found it. And that's got the Unitologists all riled up, saying the government took it away, but Earth Gov never... I think Earth Gov had nothing to do with it, honestly. Earth Gov just taking all the blame for it right now. You can't really deny it because they're just gonna say you're lying. That, or they left the marker on Earth, and Earth Gov found it, and is using it right now to create more markers. So I have no idea what those are. So if you can answer, if you have any questions about these two subjects, let me know. The last thing I'm going to talk about is if, let's say, Dead Space 3, everyone survived the, let's say how do I want to say this? I don't want to say the moons got there and destroyed the planet, or we beat the moons, because this wouldn't work in that scenario. Let's say the moons never found the planet first. Let's say Isaac and Carver got back in time before them. Earth Gov had no battalions of soldiers left, because in 3, I think Norton said, it was either Norton or Carver, I can't remember who said it, but one of them said this is Earth Gov's last battalion. It's at the beginning of the game. The government most likely fell apart, so there's no ruling government over the sovereign colonies. There's no ruling government over the colonies or Earth at the time, because there's no way they have any control. So most likely the Unitologists took over. It's a religious government now on Earth. It'd be really interesting, honestly, I think, because you have their prophet Altman. Who's below him then? I don't think did they have a pope? Because who would have the most power? Because you have the upper echelons, like Captain Matthias. I think he was upper. I don't think he was the top, but he was upper. Because I know they sent him in order to go pick up the marker. So someone had power to send him. Because I don't think he volunteered. He would have volunteered, obviously. He's very devout. Yeah, so if 4 ever came out, they should just take the DLC. I think it was what was it called? Is it Awakened? Was that it? Awakened DLC 3. Remove that. Apparently, just to let you know before I do this, 3, the Awakened DLC was apparently more in line with the original Dead Space 3 script than the actual game was. I don't know if you knew that. But if they did number 4, if they ever make a 4, they should do the Unitologist ruling the planet. That's one option. You can do where Ellie comes back, she's the main character, and she just scavenges all the broken, let's say, planets, colonies, and ships. I guess it won't be a human extinction event. Well, I guess it would be like a slow burnout of humanity. So I guess it would be an extinction event. So we got Unitologist government, Ellie, and the scavenging. You could do another Isaac, a 4th Isaac one, but the thing is, like, if you keep sending the same character over and over, the character stops being scared. First one, you have fear, horror. Second one, you're more used to it. Third one, you're completely used to it. You actually got insane in the second game. Isaac's just used to all the horror. I can't remember. I played 3 a little back. I played 3 recently, actually 2 years ago. Well, it's not recent, but I don't know if Isaac ever screams in that game, like from jump scares. I think he just says curse words and all that when people jump out. Like, you gotta be fucking me or something like that, you know? Yeah. So if they make a 4th one, I don't know how it'd be a horror game. Most likely be an action game. Action games sell more than horror. Unfortunate, but it is true. People like to be heroes more than, I guess, victimized or victims. Yeah, so if you have an idea for that too, I'd like to hear that too. Very interesting what the 4th game could be. There was this script, just trying to think if it's the same game I'm thinking of. There was a script for the, oh no, this is Turok, sorry. Different game. I don't know if you want to know this or not, but Turok had a game, the second one coming out for the new series, the Turok that came out in 2008 on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, was it? It was a second one coming out for that specific timeline, I should say, because it takes place in a different timeline apparently. That you go back to the planet, you're stuck there, and you're fighting some kind of, like, is it orcs or something? That's weird, but I can go with that. If you want to see a video about that, I'll let you know about that. Just ask, I guess. I guess I have nothing else to talk about. Things I would have liked to see in Dead Space, I guess. I'm just listing a bunch of subjects. If you want me to talk about these in the future videos, if anyone wants me to. I'm just gonna start cracking things out here. I want to see some more planet crackers, because there's apparently, I think, 3 other ones. I want to see if I could maybe see Earth before and after, maybe before the Resource Wars or during it. Oh, the resource war is really cool. Because I know there's veterans of the Secession War. I think in one of the, I think the book, I can't remember honestly. Oh no, it was Gabe. Gabe from God damn it, Gabe Weller. Gabe Weller. He was in the research war with some guy called Nathan McNeil. Neil. I can't remember the planet. It was like Scorpion or something. That'd be cool to see. It'd be cool if you could do like a what are those games called? The where you collect stuff, resources. A simulator game where you're like working for USG and you're just mining. You just mine stuff all day and sell it for your planet. That'd be cool. I like to play that. I play that. Oh, a RTS game for the, well, you can do like the Zorg from StarCraft or something, like for the Necromorphs and Dead Space characters. There's a bunch of stuff. You can take this whole series can be turned into different types of genre-based gameplay. You could have action. We have action and horror already. RTS, strategy. RTS is part of strategy. Simulation games. Oh man, I could talk all day about this stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna cut it short. I don't want to talk too long. I gotta edit the video too. That'd be fun. But if you have any other questions, anything you want to talk about, things I talked about, go off what I talked about. The Sovereign Colonies. Sovereign Colonies, are they better than Earth Gov? Is Earth Gov better than them? Where the black marker went, the types of games we could see after Dead Space 3 if a fourth one was made. The Turok thing, which I would rambled on about. Gabe, if you want to talk about Gabe Weller, I don't know why, but you could. Secession War, and the different types of genres. So, any of those things you want to talk about, just leave a comment below and I'll look into it. Maybe make a future video. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.